Toronto paramedics have issued what they say is a code red. After earlier this week, there were no ambulances to respond to emergency calls, overwhelming the entire system, to the point that other services throughout the GTA were called for backup. Seeing the lights and sirens of ambulances racing through the streets means paramedic crews are answering calls. When they're not moving, it poses some serious problems.
It's becoming a daily event, but that day it was just so bad. Patients were waiting for up to 8 hours for an ambulance.
Toronto's paramedic union posted this video on social media, alerting followers there were no ambulances available at one point on Monday, and that other services were more well-prepared and better staffed.
I've never seen it get to a point where they've had to call in surrounding municipalities to service the calls that we couldn't.
Toronto Paramedic Services responded saying, quote, "There are no borders for ambulances. The closest ambulance is always chosen to respond to high-priority calls, regardless of location." The statement also points to the backlog at hospitals, leading to delays in offloading patients.
They always love to blame the hospitals, scapegoat with the hospitals, but that wasn't the situation the other day there.
The union, meanwhile, says the number of staff available in a growing city has long been a problem. And despite a $21 million increase in budget earlier this year, not enough paramedics have been hired since. When dealing with a lower number of available ambulances, the explanation given to CityNews says, quote, "During busier periods like those experienced on Monday, paramedics are routinely diverted from lower priority calls to higher priority calls. Higher priority calls will always be responded to first."
We did have an elderly woman in her 80s who fell and looks like fractured her arm, and she waited hours on the floor for an ambulance, which is unacceptable.
Adding to the problem of emergency response, 911 wait times. It's an issue that Mayor Olivia Chow first brought up in her election campaign, but has yet to address since taking office. Mark McAllister, City News.